Welcome to episode 117 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe, co-created by Bruce Timm. I am Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And it is going to be a mercifully shorter episode this week.
It is.
We're just doing one Batman Beyond episode.
One bad Batman Beyond episode.
Oh my God. Hey, but it does include the return of our favorite character.
Charlie Big Dick Charlie.
Charlie Big Dick Charlie.
The worst version of Two-Face you could ever imagine. You realize this is just a Two-Face story.
It's just a Two-Face story.
But it's so bad.
No, it's done terribly. Like, I mean, obviously the best version is in fact Two-Face.
Yes.
I'd say a good secondary to that would have been on The Batman, which was Detective Bennett, which was Bruce Wayne's childhood friend, became Clayface.
Okay.
And that's a pretty good arc, and like Bennett's a good character. But yeah, this is just shit. It's a terrible design, terrible character, terrible episodes.
Great name. Charlie Big Dick Charlie. Here to stay.
They really got that part down.
Yeah.
But we do have like a little bit of news. First off, should we also talk about another ugly character with potentially really terrible show?
Sure.
Which is of course Swamp Thing.
Yes. Grumpy Cat, the series.
Yeah. So we're recording this super early. We're recording this on Wednesday because Cameron's got to go out of town.
I do.
You bastard.
Yep. Blame the family.
Nah, I get it. Gotta spend that time with family. So the Swamp Thing teaser just came out today.
Literal hours ago.
Yeah. So this is like the freshest news you're ever gonna get from us.
Yeah.
Except for when you listen to it, it'll be a week old. Freshest news for us.
Yes, the freshest take we could give, and it's bad.
It's very generic. It's just a swamp, and he comes out of it. But as you put it very well, he looks like Grumpy Cat.
He does, and it's very concerning. One, what you mentioned beforehand, that Swamp Thing's episode numbers were cut from 13 to 10.
Yeah, that just came out today as well. And at least like some of the casting crew are pretty upset about it. They're like Virginia Madsen, who I forgot was in the show. Surprisingly, she's in the show because she's a great actress. I mean, maybe it's good, probably won't be. But, she's not happy about it, obviously, because then it undercuts the effectiveness. I mean, you had 13 episodes. Clearly, you had a very specific story you're trying to tell.
Right.
To then chop out almost a quarter of that is problematic, to say the least.
But that's also just concerning for the quality of the show.
Yeah. Which neither of us were probably going to watch anyways.
Yeah, and also this is the next show for the DC streaming service, but it's the one we've gotten the least information about, and it's starting up in 5 weeks. Yeah. So, we know more about the Harley animated series coming in December than we know about this. We know more. We've seen more about Stargirl than we've seen about this.
This is the Solo of DC Universe.
I think it is.
So, because one of the articles I read today was
maybe Christmas special. Do we want to put it that low yet?
But I think when the Christmas special came out, people were super excited about it because they just wanted
more
Star Wars content they could possibly get.
That's true.
Because at that point, all they had was the original movie.
For some reason, the executives think that's still how people think.
Oh God, I know. It just fucking baffles me.
Any Star Wars is good Star Wars.
They seem to have changed their mind a little bit on that because it sounds like after the Rise of Skywalker, we won't be getting any Star Wars movies for a while. But I think
just 3 live-action TV series and 1 animated TV series.
Wait, what are the 3 live-action TV series?
Mandalorian, the Cassian Andor.
Oh, Cassian Andor,
Alan,
right.
Yeah, Alan Tudyk. Did they announce a 3rd one?
I feel like there's been rumors flying around for years about a Kenobi something.
Okay, well, I guess officially 2 live-action TV shows and 1 animated.
But, like, that's not necessarily the worst thing, though. We haven't had a Star Wars live-action show yet.
Oh, Old Republic. That was the other one.
Oh, KOTOR. Right. We don't know if that's going to be a movie or if that's going to be a TV show. Because we know that Rian Johnson still has a trilogy he's working on. And the creators
Game of
Thrones guys. Yeah. So D.B. Weiss and David Benioff are working on something, too. I think they're seemingly attached to the KOTOR project. That seems to be the rumor. People could also just be speculating because it's slightly more in the wheelhouse of Game of Thrones. But we know we're getting those. But I mean, I don't know. I think Star Wars might work well on TV. Like,
I think it absolutely will.
We were just talking about the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars animated series that was some people would say the best thing Star Wars
I
has
would
ever
say
made.
it's the best thing Star Wars has ever made.
It's incredible.
So good.
And even the CGI
it
show
gave
was
me
really good.
love for Kit Fisto.
Oh, Kit Fisto.
Yeah, because he was a ripped water boy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is.
Yeah.
He's a ripped AF. He works much better in animation than he does in live action.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, this was still practical effects.
Yeah,
when
he's
making
in
him.
the squid dude suit.
Yeah, and so you can't make that look normal, no matter how much you try.
I bet Guillermo del Toro could do it.
Guillermo could, absolutely.
He basically did it twice already.
Mm. Well, no, because they were still more humanoid. They didn't have the 12 tentacles from their head.
I love that you know specifically it's 12. Is it actually
pretty
12?
sure it's 12 or 13 because you keep a ring on the 9th one to show that you've... oh, God, what is the reason? You have a ring on one of the tentacles for some reason. I researched this years ago. I wish I was still up on my Star Wars knowledge.
Okay, looking up Kit Fisto here. I don't need all of that garbage. Biography.
Are we going to need another...
Can we just get
camera's
to...
course corrections?
Can we just get to the tentacles? Here we go. Are they called tentacles? Are they called something else?
I don't know. But he's also...
here we go.
Oh, okay.
With flexible tentacle tresses
Yes.
extending from his head, and he has a height of 1.96 meters. Oh. But I don't see anything else about the number of them or why he has a ring on one of them. So we can all look forward to another episode of Cameron's course correction later
Course
on.
corrections.
But look, I mean, I think Star Wars is in a good place in that regards. You know, we also got the teaser trailer for season 7 of the other Clone Wars series, which looks great. That looks like it's going to focus a lot on Ahsoka Tano, which I'm all for. She's an awesome character. Love to spend any more time with her that we can. I mean, those look all good, but I think in terms of the DC Universe stuff, you know, one of the worries with them cutting the episode order on Swamp Thing was that this might not be a good sign for DC Universe as a whole. And obviously, I hope it continues.
Same.
Because if you're a fan of this stuff, which we are, and which if you're listening to this, most likely you are too, it's completely in your wheelhouse. And for what you're getting, it's actually a pretty good price.
Absolutely. And I
that I clearly pay for.
Yes. That everyone on this podcast clearly pays
that
for.
both of us on this podcast pay for willingly.
Yeah, because especially with the announcement of Disney Plus, we're going to have a lot more competition happening in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers already has announced their plans of their own streaming service, which is going to be all of Warner Media, all of HBO, and all of Turner, because I didn't realize they're now under AT&T as well.
Oh, yeah.
And because, you know, the idea for Disney, the reason they can put the streaming service out a little faster is because they're just building it around around Hulu, and Warner can do the same thing, building it around HBO.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's such a bad idea because, you know, the interface of DC Universe isn't the best, but
No.
they give you a lot more options, which is great because, you know,
Yes.
you have movies, TV, comics, and a forum for some reason.
Yeah, and like all
But
their
I get it. I've
original
looked at
shows.
it every now and then with the forum, and fans are very excited to talk to one another. And HBO is good because it knows how to handle a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But, you know, combine the two ideas. You know, use what you've learned through DC, keep it up while you're learning.
Well, yeah, I hope they keep it going.
Yeah, because as you mentioned very prominently at the beginning of this conversation, it's the only way we can watch Static Shock right now.
Yes, it's the only way we have to watch Static. Still got to figure out Zeta.
Yeah.
Separate thing. But, I mean, it's a good service, and I think, I mean, it's easy for us to say this, not being the people actually, like, running the numbers and all this, but it seems like you're better off keeping that going with a dedicated fan base and watching to see how it works and how it doesn't, and then use that to learn lessons going forward. I mean, this is one of the advantages I think Disney has is, yeah, they have Hulu, but also everyone's been able to watch Netflix and see what works for them and what doesn't. And Disney has the capital to maybe do something even better with it. So yeah, keep DC going for as long as they can, at least.
Here's my question for you, because this is what I've been thinking a lot about with Disney Plus. Do you think for DC Universe it was a bad idea to give us everything up front?
Oh, yeah.
Because we did see that huge drop off right around when Titans was ending.
Maybe. Maybe it's... I mean, yeah, I guess... it's hard to say because you're going to get people jumping in there and maybe they've already burned through the thing they were most excited about. So maybe they wanted to watch Batman Animated Series. Maybe they wanted to watch Static Shock. Maybe there was one person on the planet who really wanted to watch the 1970s Shazam TV show.
Yeah, I'm sure there was.
Probably was at least one person out there who wanted to see that.
And there was that one guy who's like, there's no Zeta. Cancel.
That would be Maddie. And also us.
Yeah.
Because we need it. But I think it probably didn't help, one, they put everything up front. It didn't help that Titans was not good. So I think you got some drop-off there. I think it does help now that they've opened up their comics catalog to everything that's older than 12 months. I think that'll help keep people on board or maybe bring some more people back. Because now it basically just becomes their version of Marvel Unlimited. Plus you get all the TV shows too, which is awesome. But it might hurt them in the long run. So that's something you were concerned with.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned with for Disney Plus, because we're getting everything up front.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they said not all of Fox, but all Disney classics are going up day one.
Crazy.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
Um,
Now, do you think with Disney, they're going to make it hard to share the platform? Maybe that's why they priced it so low? Or they didn't announce anything about doing a family pack or anything like that.
They have not announced anything
So one
like that.
presumes it's going to be kind of like a Netflix or an HBO where you have a number of devices you can link to it.
Yeah. I have no idea what they're going to do about that. I mean, I think...
It seems like a trap. It's too cheap.
It's definitely too cheap.
Yeah.
Especially with how much content they're making for it.
Yeah.
But I think, one of the reasons they can make it cheaper than Netflix is they already own all that property.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're not, your $7 a month is only going to make the new shows.
Yeah, and to just support the platform, whatever that entails. But you're right, you're not paying to have a company license other properties.
Yeah, so I had this idea for how to handle a streaming service like Disney, and I'm curious your take on it. So instead, for movies, not including TV shows, for movies, how would you feel if instead of getting everything up front, you had a monthly rotation? You'd get 20 to... I don't know how many movies Disney owns anymore, but we'll say just with animated, you'll get... There's 56 animated movies? 57?
You should know this.
I should know this. I can name them all.
Let's pass. We should just do that as a bonus episode one day. Record it and fill it whenever we need some time.
I'll round it up to 60 Disney animated films.
All right.
So how would you feel if you got 10 a month for free? And so that would... Because you're not going to watch more than 10 Disney movies in a month. And then that rotated every month. But at a discounted price, maybe $4, you could keep that content permanently. So like if I'm a diehard Lion King fan and I don't want to wait for it to show up every 6 months, I can get it permanently and watch it whenever I want. And then that also opens up the idea for people to want to watch new content. It's like, something that I didn't really want came out this month. But I remember someone saying that looked okay, so I'll check that out. And then I'll get excited for next month because Tarzan's coming next month. Would that be too weird?
I think it would get complicated. And I think I would just get frustrated.
Okay.
I'd be like, if I'm paying for this service, I just want it all there. Because I feel like now one of the hardest obstacles for an audience to get past is accessibility. Like FX, for example, makes a lot of great shows. They make it so fucking hard to watch their stuff that I just don't bother. Like if Disney were to go through that sort of like complicated roundabout thing, being like, it goes on rotation, so all of a sudden I'm like, hey, you know what? I do just want to watch like Tarzan. All of a sudden I'll go and look, I'm like, I missed it by 3 days, and I have to wait X number of months. Like, well, then why the fuck am I paying for this thing? Like, why? Now I'm looking at the possibility of having to like go and buy it on iTunes, even though I'm already paying to have access to it.
Well, I think that's where the discounted price would come in.
I don't know. Then it just gets complicated. I see your point about the risk of having it all up front is that people will dip out once they've seen what they want to see.
The casual fan base.
Yeah. But I think those losses are worth keeping the people who just want to have that stuff all the time. Like you or me, who will just
I will never
pay
turn that app off.
to have access to all of Disney stuff for the rest of our lives.
It's dangerous. I've been thinking a lot about this. It's very dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. This is the new model. And on paper, it's great. You think about all the stuff you get access to for a relatively low price. But then when you break it down and be like, okay, maybe a Disney film on iTunes is going to be $20. So $20 spent once versus $7 a month for an indefinite period of time until whatever.
Well, I mean, the monthly package was what, like 56 for, no, more than that. It was like 70 for the year.
Yeah. I think it was $6.99 a month, or $69.99 for the whole thing.
Nice.
I don't know. We're gonna do it. I know we're gonna do it.
I mean, everyone's gonna do it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I want the Mandalorian. I want Clone Wars. I want Loki.
Yeah, and I think they're doing a great job diversifying the new content. So it's not just we're getting Disney stuff, and it's not just we're getting kids stuff, but we're getting stuff for, they're targeting our audience, or our demographic really well. They're still targeting the younger demographic. They're targeting the Nat Geo demographic. They're targeting the Jeff Goldblum demographic, which one might say is the biggest demographic.
Everybody is a Jeff Goldblum fan.
So like they're smart, and just because DC has the problem of they're playing with a much smaller pool.
Yeah.
And they kind of have to keep everyone happy to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Which is impossible, no matter how big or small.
Yeah.
Where Disney, it's, one could argue, the biggest net in the world of fans.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep it. You can't keep them all happy, but if you throw enough new stuff, you're gonna hit somewhere in that Venn diagram for everyone.
It's true. I don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens going forward, and how much of our money is going to go to it.
Yeah.
So much.
We still have a couple months, so I'm sure I will continue to talk about my excitement and fear for the Disney Plus streaming service.
Well, it's just big news, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I did have one other piece of news, though.
Okay.
Breaking news almost at this point, that the Halo TV show happening on Showtime has cast its Master Chief.
I just saw that, yes.
Yeah, so actor Pablo Schreiber, who most people might know from Orange is the New Black. Did you ever watch that?
I watched the first season.
Okay, so you remember the security guard who everyone called, I think they call him Porn Stash? Like tall, lanky guy with a mustache?
Yeah.
Not the person you would necessarily expect to be cast as the Master Chief.
Well, I mean, he has a helmet on the whole time.
This is true. But, I mean, he's a good actor. He also popped up in First Man playing Jim Lovell.
Okay.
Who Tom Hanks famously played, of course, in Apollo 13. I don't know. I mean, Steven Spielberg's producing this. There's good people like Otto Bathurst, who did Penny Dreadful. Peaky Blinders.
There you go.
Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
He's attached to it. So, I mean, I don't know.
And this is a series that's been trying to get legs for, I'm going to say almost a decade.
Well, more than a decade. Because Halo 3 came out in 2007.
Oh, yeah. I forgot it was after Halo 3. Yeah.
And there's a fantastic commercial, maybe a couple commercials that came out for Halo 3 that were done in like live action CGI hybrid. And they were directed by Neil Blomkamp, if I recall. Because way back in the day, he was going to direct a Halo film with Peter Jackson producing. And it's bounced all around, gone all over the place. And now it's netted out to be Steven Spielberg producing for Showtime.
Yes. I remember when they announced Spielberg was attached to it years ago.
Yeah. Were you a Halo person? Did you play the games?
I'm the worst first-person shooter there is. I love video games, except that genre.
Except for first-person shooters.
My roommate in college was obsessed with the game. He played it, Halo 3 was his game. Halo 2 and Halo 3 were his game.
Oh, yeah.
But because of that, whenever I tried to play, he was just at that level where it wasn't fun for me.
I get that. That's me now playing anything.
Yeah.
I don't care enough. But I loved Halo.
I mean, I love this. I enjoy the story.
It's a great
an
story.
interesting story, yeah.
And this is such a weird recommendation, but the books are actually really good.
Okay.
Like, it seems weird.
I remember, I feel like the first 3 Comic-Cons I went to, someone always gave me a Halo book. And so I own a couple.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them, and I kind of stopped reading at a certain point, and I think the mythology just keeps getting more convoluted as they create more stuff around it.
Yeah, that is kind of what happens.
Yeah, that's pretty much always what happens. But certainly, like, the first 3 books are really good. So there's The Fall of Reach, which basically charts the backstory of all of the Spartan soldiers when, like, they're first basically kidnapped as children and, like, inducted in this program through the early missions, early contact with the Covenant, leading up to them all leaving Reach when it gets bombed, when it gets taken out by the Covenant. And there's the novelization of the first Halo game, which also really
the
good.
guys from the Covenant are in this?
What?
Do you remember the movie The Covenant?
The Covenant. I mean, Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, Sebastian
Isn't
Stan
that
and Taylor.
Taylor Hoechlin? No.
No. Friday Night Lights. Shane's favorite boy.
Taylor Hitch.
Yeah.
You know, I've never actually seen that movie.
That does not surprise me.
But I remember its existence because confused teenage Chris definitely remembered all the trailers with so much shirtlessness. Taylor Kitsch, Sebastian Stan, and Chase Crawford are all like the major names. And then who's Steven Strait? He's the main guy. Has he been in anything else?
I don't think so.
Not really. Doesn't look like it. Oh, he was in 10,000 BC. No one saw that movie.
This guy hot. Oh, he's War and Peace.
Oh, that's right. I've never seen that. I should go watch it though. That would be.
I mean, it definitely falls in the category of amazing bad movies. It's so bad.
I feel like that would make a good Gay It Forward episode.
I think it would. but the thing is, it's so like it takes the Zack Snyder grunge and just dials it up to an unwatchable level.
Oh, I mean, this was pre-Zack Snyder.
It is pre-Zack Snyder.
More or less.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pre-300, so like this is... Maybe Zack Snyder saw this, like, yes. This aesthetic is what I need going forward.
I honestly don't think there is a scene with a sun in it in the entire movie. It's either night or it's very cloudy.
Monochromatic homoeroticism.
Yes.
The Zack Snyder aesthetic.
Yes. And I just remember the soundtrack, like... 2006 Cameron, like this is the soundtrack of my life.
Oh my god!
And it's just so wonderful.
All right, I gotta go.
Yeah, I will definitely watch this movie again with you.
Oh, Rennie Harlan directed it. He directed Die Hard 2, Die Harder.
Oh my gosh!
I know, so fantastic.
To Die, Too Harder.
Yeah, but I'm excited for a Halo show. Bring it on. So. But anywho, any other major news topics, or should we jump into our lone episode of Batman this week?
Just very briefly, because I like my analogy. We got the final Dark Phoenix trailer this morning.
Oh yes, we did.
Which looks like it's the worst parts of Fantastic Four mixed with the worst parts of X-Men. And so
true.
What can we expect?
I think the final Dark Phoenix trailer was released today, and the world let out a collective meh. Look, we're going to see it.
I honestly can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see how bad it is.
We're going to see it. We're going to shit on it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great time.
Because for this year, Hellboy is definitely holding up the bottom rung. And we're going to see
if this can do
what
worse.
Can dethrone that.
Well, I have full faith in the X-Men to do that.
Yes.
It's their primary mutation. It's being fucking terrible. But anywho,
let's get into Charlie Big Dick Charlie.
Charlie Big Dick Charlie, his return. I'm gonna be honest, I was barely paying attention this episode.
Yeah,
I was doing the rest of my notes for everything else while kind of watching this in the background. I mean, like, the general thing here is Charlie's back. He's working with some other guy named Major who considers himself like a criminal mastermind. Spoiler alert, he's not. Charlie's unhappy that he's not being given the sort of intellectual respect he thinks he deserves.
Well, he's not. He was promised a partnership.
Yeah,
but he's being treated as a henchman
because he's dumb.
He's big and dumb. Yeah,
and he's just big, dumb, and strong.
He's Bane from the live action Bane.
Oh, from Batman and Robin. Yeah. I mean, I guess he's kind of clever because he knows how to manipulate people.
He knows how to manipulate Terry, and just Terry.
Yep. Yeah, you're right, actually. He doesn't get his way with anybody else.
Yeah.
Just with Terry.
Mm-hmm. But we see an interesting side of Bruce in this episode.
Because
yes. This is the first time that I can remember where Bruce doesn't want Terry to act.
That's true, yeah. Because the call comes in over the radio, and Bruce says, "Leave it to the cops," which is crazy. Because like, what are the cops supposed to do with?
Right. When has Bruce ever trusted the cops?
Yeah, I mean, I get it's Barbara, but we're also talking about like Charlie, Big Dick Charlie. Like he's kind of dumb, but he's still super strong.
Yeah,
he can like flip over an armored truck and shit. Like the cops can't handle that.
He can knock out the bat suit.
Ooh, that's true. Actually,
he does that once.
He can frazzle the bat suit.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I feel like if you're looking at a screen through those glasses, I feel like you're definitely, that's not a smart thing. Maybe that was implemented because of Spellbinder. Where he's not actually looking through the suit. There's a screen, Iron Man style.
That was always the case, though.
Oh.
Because even in the Spellbinder episode, that first one, Terry fights him because Bruce becomes his eyes. Right? So Terry's mind is seeing things wrong, but the suit is capturing the visuals accurately.
Yes.
So there's always been the vidlink. Plus, I think even in...
No, not the vidlink. The inside the bat suit, we see when Big Charlie slams Terry, the screen is fuzzy for Terry, not for Bruce.
But I mean, that POV shot though of the framed lenses through which Terry looks, that's been around since season 1. I mean, that's been around since Spellbinder. That was part of Spellbinder.
Okay.
Like when we're seeing things from Terry's perspective at any point in the show, we always see it with that framing. And like the Spellbinder episode, like Terry's seeing all the hallucinations, but then we also get glimpses of what it actually looks like in reality.
Yeah, but that's in his head, not through the visor.
But I'm saying that existed before Spellbinder.
Yes, okay.
Like the suit was always designed this way, that sort of Iron Man style, which it's not really the best idea. Now,
it's
is
dumb.
It? Yeah,
it's very dumb.
Because like the suit has a lot of problems.
It gets knocked out a lot, especially in this later season.
So when that happens,
and it constantly gets ripped apart.
You are blind.
Yeah,
not good.
Yeah, where is the camera? What if someone just covers it up?
I mean, where's the camera on the Iron Man suit?
That's true.
Yeah, where's the bat suit makes no goddamn sense.
Do you think Tony? I mean, I know Tony does this. He makes the camera a little bit higher than his eye line so he can feel taller. Not much. Not to a disorienting level.
Right.
Just like 2 inches.
But I mean, beyond the lift he's already getting from wearing around perpetual rocket boots.
Yeah. He can make those boots thinner if he wants, but he enjoys the height.
Yeah.
He enjoys feeling taller. Especially when Thor came in with his 8-foot godliness. He's like the next suit had an extra level of platform. He's like, oh no, it's an extra boost in my jetpack.
The Mark 8 had just a slightly larger heel in it.
Tony, is that an actual heel? No. It's where the thruster is.
Those stilettos? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
I mean, fun. Tony, you look good.
They're tactical stilettos.
Yeah.
A la Catwoman.
It makes the butt of your metal suit look fantastic.
Oh yeah, which that also has padding in it too.
Oh yeah.
I think all that suit has a little bit of extra padding there just to show off. I mean, I get it. He's an older gentleman. It's hard to maintain that kind of physique.
Yeah.
Especially when you got fucking Cap and Thor running around.
I would love every time he met a new person, he would just make the suit have an attribute of theirs, but better. And so when he first meets Strange, he makes a better goatee on the Iron Man suit.
Yeah, it's a prehensile cape. That's true. He builds in a shield. He builds in a hammer.
Yeah.
He builds in a bow and arrow.
Puts a metal 6-pack on it. It just gets heavier and heavier. Poor Tony.
Poor Tony. He's so neurotic and insecure all the time. But yeah, so Charlie is able to frazzle the suit, and then he decides that he wants to start his own crew. So he has Terry kidnapped by a crew.
Yeah.
that he already has.
Well, so it sounds like it's not that he wants his own crew. He wants his own partner.
Yeah.
Because the Major continues to bring in people that he likes to work with that I assume are just other crime bosses.
Yeah.
Where Charlie Big Dick is like, hey, I have friends too. Like, why can't I bring my friends in? He's like, because you're a fucking idiot. He's like, no, I'm not. I'll prove it to you by bringing in one of my friends who's definitely not Batman.
Right. And then who doesn't immediately try and escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they kidnap Terry and he loses the bat suit, so now Max has it. And Terry gets taken to Big Dick Charlie's hideout, where Charlie's like, hey, it's all the stuff we wanted when we were kids.
You see those 3 video games in the corner? Yeah, we used to play those things.
We have arcade consoles.
We got
still
skee
a thing.
ball.
You know what this is?
We got a pool table.
You know what this is?
It's just the worst bachelor pad.
No, I was going to say, this is Charlie having his blank check moment.
It is. It absolutely is. Because you see Major counting all his money, and clearly Charlie already spent all his money.
Yeah, on video game consoles.
Just immediately.
And hookers?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, definitely yes.
Yeah. But Terry, of course, isn't having it and then immediately escapes. And when he does, the henchmen try and take him out in the most conspicuous way possible. Like, they're firing
a laser rocket launcher.
Yeah, they're firing a goddamn laser bazooka out the window of what seems to be like a fairly high-end hotel room. So it's probably in a relatively popular, nice part of town. And they're just going to town, firing shit left and right. Now, admittedly, this is Gotham.
Yeah, this isn't new.
This happens everywhere, all the time. But no matter what, the cops are eventually going to show up.
Right, they had a long time, too.
They did have a long time, and I'll at least give the show credit for acknowledging that, because the show often won't do that. They'll just have people firing left and right, and no one even talks about it. But at least this time, the Major's like, hey, we need to leave. We were just shooting guns at the window. The cops will show up. And they do.
Yeah, well, he says, because he makes the difference of, like, the horde of cops that do show up and kind of a cop just coming to check out the situation. Yeah,
because Charlie goes to Terry and... So Charlie chases down Terry and eventually captures him, and rather than kill him, beat the shit out of him, he's like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to get out, but I'm kind of trapped. Will you help me? Or he doesn't even ask for help. Terry just offers it.
Yeah.
He's like, look.
Terry, good guy Terry.
Terry, the good guy, tiny Terry. He's like, look, I work for Bruce Wayne. He's got some pull. We can get you some scientists that get you cured. We can help find you a job. Like, I'll do this for you. You just got to give up everybody else. And so Charlie does, and then all the cops show up to arrest the Major. And then he's like, I was just tricking you, Terry. I don't want to go clean. I don't want to get cured. I'm awesome. People respect me because I have power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all those henchmen, they're now my henchmen, even though they all just got arrested. So they're still mine. I've definitely thought this through.
This beautiful plan. Yeah, so then what happens at that point? Oh, it's like
he tries to attack Terry.
Yeah.
And then Bruce comes and hits him with the limo.
So Bruce can drive.
Yeah.
Let's just point this out
with the
real
limo
quick.
that looks very conspicuously like the new Batman Adventures Batmobile.
Also very true.
Identical.
I mean, I guess actually I've never noticed that before.
Because I don't think we've ever seen a bird's eye view shot of the limo.
Maybe not.
Because it's the same thing. He just remodded the Batmobile.
Well, actually, I think it was last episode in one of the parts of the call. I want to say it was Bruce takes a call from Terry, and he's working on the Batmobile in the garage.
Is it this one? Is it
No,
so
he's working on the original Batmobile.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, he cleverly just modeled it. It's probably like the grandson of the mechanic who built the original one. It's like, hey, can you just build me this limousine? And I have a very particular aesthetic.
Have a look. I don't want you to ask any questions, but it looks surprisingly like the Batmobile that your grandfather definitely did not build for
Definitely
me.
did not build for me.
Don't worry about the blueprints that say his name.
Don't worry about the bat emblem on the steering wheel.
Yeah. That's just it's my family crest.
Don't worry about the thruster pack on the back. It's fine.
The machine guns, safety. Gotham's a scary place.
Ejector seats. It's all good.
It's when, in case I have a heart attack and I need to make it to the hospital as fast as possible, I need an ejector seat.
Yeah. Now, have we seen that thing fly? Because it's a hover car, but I feel like a lot of the hover cars in this universe are also capable of full-on flight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we've seen that with this one, right?
No, but I assume he has a few limos.
Yeah.
Because I think this is not the same limo that we saw in the Ace episode.
Like the old one, like the flashback?
Mm-hmm.
I think it is.
No, because the driving console is farther back in the car. Because the other one looked like a normal car. And this one, I want to say cockpit, but I know that's not the right word. I'm gonna keep saying driving console.
Like the dash?
Yeah.
No, it's the same. It's
the
same
front of the
limo.
car is longer in this one. That's why it.
I'm pretty sure it's the same one. Because then there was in the Out of the Past episode, he's driving the old wheeled car, but I'm pretty sure it's the same limo.
We'll see. We'll have someone.
One of us is gonna have to do a course correction.
Yeah.
I suspect it'll be you.
Well, I already have enough to talk about.
That's true. You have enough amends to make. But one of the things I did like, though, is, Max has the suit when Tara gets kidnapped. And so she vidlinks Bruce at this point because they're pals, I guess.
Yeah, they talk all the time.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, like, I'll be there in a minute to pick up the suit. And then he hangs up and she opens it and like, oh, she like just put on the mask even. And Bruce calls her back immediately. Don't put on the suit.
Don't put it on.
Don't even think about it. Love that moment from him. But yeah, Bruce goes and hits Big Dick Charlie with his car and then throws the bat suit to Terry. Terry puts it on. A fight ensues. They end up on the bridge. And then Big Dick Charlie falls into the water in what I'm sure would not kill him.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know it's water. It was just nothing.
I mean, they were on...
Maybe future Neo Gotham is a hovering city.
It might be. I still think he
Maybe
would survive
got
it.
jetsoned.
Like, he got hit by a fucking car.
Yeah.
Like, mere minutes before that was totally fine. I don't think that fall would have killed him. But also, if it did, that's fine, because this is a terrible character, and I'm glad to see him go away.
And it continues the streak of Terry murdering all of his villains.
That's true. He doesn't even try and save him.
Yeah, not even a little bit.
He just lets him go. But, I mean, really, is it a big loss?
No.
I think we're okay with it.
I mean, we will miss saying Charlie, Big Dick Charlie, but that's okay if we never have to watch these
these episodes. It's so bizarre that this character exists the way it does. Because there is some potential here. I feel like we even talked about this last time. Like the idea of having a villain connected to Terry's past, someone who feels guilty about... I mean, it's a Two-Face thing.
It's just Two-Face.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like the character model was drawn first and then on its way to animation, like someone might have spilt coffee on it and just like that whole...
It ran a little bit?
Yeah, that whole left side. They're like, I think this is what they meant.
Yeah.
And they were too far into production of like, what is this monster? Like, that's not what I drew. It's like, well, we've already animated the whole thing. I was like, fuck.
Okay, fine, we'll do
All
it.
right.
But it's disappointing because this show has proven that it can do really great character design. I mean, look at the major villains. So Blight, Ink, Shriek, Spellbinder. I mean, the Golem's not only a major villain, but like the Golem looks awesome. The redo on Freeze looks great. Even the Stalker has like a cool, distinct aesthetic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anyone else. Those are all kind of the major ones. Even fucking Mad Stan. Good old Mad Stan. Like, they've done a pretty good job for the most part about designing their characters and at least giving them something kind of interesting to go with, right? I think...
And having motivation.
Yeah, like Ink is the most fleshed out, obviously, because she has the most appearances. But, even up until her last primary episode, we were getting kind of new twists and turns on her. I mean, she's definitely the closest to a classic BTOS villain arc as we've gotten. But, I mean, the Freeze episode is amazing. They do a great job with him. Even Shriek's motivation, it's kind of always revenge-driven, but it shifts a little bit each time we see him. Kind of same with Spellbinder too. Like they're good about making the villains feel dynamic from a design, from a character perspective, this is just such a weird waste. It's like a really grotesque design, a waste of some good potential. Why he's in it twice, I have no fucking clue.
I was very surprised when he popped back up in this episode.
Well, because what does this add that the other episode didn't address?
I mean, I think it hardens Terry a bit.
Okay.
Like, I know, unfortunately, there's only 4 episodes left, so we can't really play off of that idea.
Yeah.
But I think this is an episode, if they handled it better, it could have been Bruce seeing the situation and making sure Terry doesn't follow a path similar to his, where in actuality Terry just becomes more like Bruce at the end of this.
Yeah.
He becomes a little more cold,
Yeah.
a little more closed off to everyone around him, a little less trustworthy of everything. And Bruce doing everything he can to make sure that doesn't happen.
Actually, yeah, that would be really interesting to see Bruce try and save Terry from that sort of cynicism.
Yeah, kind of learning from Nightwing, like how he handled the... Because, he's had 4 other opportunities to make this better.
Yeah, that's true.
He knows what works, what doesn't at this point. And so, yeah, like he knows... Because immediately he's like, hey, don't go to this. Don't, just come back, have the night off, do whatever. I think Dana's calling. Maybe you should go hang out with her.
Right, yeah. Actually, that would have been cool, yeah, if he had been going really far, or maybe even if he had deliberately withheld that Charlie had escaped from Terry.
Yeah, almost make it a combination of Robin's Reckoning and Two-Face.
Yeah, that'd be a really good idea. Of like, look, Bruce knows that Big Dick Charlie has escaped, doesn't tell Terry, and he even tells her, like, hey, like, take the night off. And Terry's like, what?
Yeah, you've never
ever given me that opportunity. And everyone around him thinks it's great. It's like his mom's excited that he's home. Dana's excited that he's there. And he can fight, like he asked Max, like, look into this. Something is off. And then she finds out what's going on. And then he has to run off and go back into the fray. And then he would have had some conflict around with Bruce, which I think is more interesting maybe than conflict with just Charlie.
Oh, yeah, because I think that would have definitely put a big spike between him and Bruce. And then Bruce having to explain, like, hey, I've had friends go bad, and there's no coming back from that fight.
Yeah.
Like, it changes you. He's like, well, that's my fight to have. Like, you don't get to make that decision for me.
This is all great stuff.
Yeah. God damn it, Bruce. Bruce Timm.
Why couldn't you have just hired us?
Yeah, when we were children.
Yes. Well, I think this is 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was 11.
Yeah.
We were precocious. We knew we were talking about back then.
We knew how to create drama.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I thought this was pretty
subpar.
Pretty flat. Yeah. It's definitely not going to be on our short lists. We could definitely cut out Big Dick Charlie from the critical canon here.
Unfortunately, Big Dick Charlie is not going to make the cut.
Off he goes. Any other thoughts on this?
I think that's about it.
Okay. Well, we're also going to do what I've been promising we would do for a while. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about Captain Marvel again.
Oh, that's right.
Because I finally went and rewatched it yesterday.
You did.
Liked it much better. Much better the second time around.
Good. As did I.
Yeah, I think... I ultimately think the biggest problem with this movie is the first act. The first act is really boring. Like... It's kind of trying to dump us in media res, but it's also having to fill in quite a bit of exposition. But it's kind of like setting up the characters, but not really giving us a lot of information because it's withholding all these mysteries. And it's also just visually just kind of drab and generic. I don't think it actually really starts picking up until they get to Earth.
Yes, absolutely.
I think the part where she's captured on the Skrull ship, like that sort of playback montage, I liked a little bit more the second time around.
Yeah, because it's fun. Like, I think when it was, for me at least, when I first watched it, I wanted to feel more like, not energy, but more kind of tense. I wanted to feel more pressure. Yeah. Like her trying to get out. Like, these are monsters.
You wanted there to be greater stakes.
Yes. And, she's running around with these giant things on her hand. And then she goes and has to go grab her boots because she doesn't like running barefoot.
Is that a Die Hard reference?
It might be.
Yeah. Feels like it.
We'll say it is.
Yeah, I'm cool with
but yeah, it feels like it should be a sense of tension for the viewer, and it's not. And the second time through, you're like, oh, no, this is kind of funny. Like, this is...
Yeah.
It's our first glimpse at seeing how strong Carol is.
This is true. Yeah, really seeing that power come through a little bit. But yeah, I mean, once they get on Earth, it's I'm not going to say it's pacey necessarily. Like, it has slow points, but I wasn't bored. Like, I was rewatching, I was bored up till they get to Earth. But then from that point on, it's pretty good, actually. It's really good. And again, we talked about this last time, but the chemistry between her and Fury is like...
It's so good.
It's so good.
And I think we might have brought this up when we did our review. It's great when you see a platonic relationship in film.
Yeah, because we don't get that very often.
Almost never.
No. Yeah, because we talked about this, I think, on the Shazam episode too, that both Shazam and Captain Marvel are all about friendships and like family and relationships, and not about romance, which is nice because like that's how things happen. I don't know, did you have any more, like, I have other little thoughts here, but I also remembered I was going to try and pull up some of the stuff people sent us about the movie, which I forgot to do beforehand.
Well, I think I told you this before, I was very dumb and erased all my notes.
You know, they're probably still on there. You know that,
no,
right?
No, because I don't make a new note every time. I have the same Timm Talk note page and just go back and, just erase everything and add new notes. Because, I'm dumb like that. But I vaguely remember all the things. I got very nitpicky in my second time viewing. Because one of my questions...
You did, that's right. You had a lot of very specific things.
Yeah, one of my nitpicks was when they're on the first alien planet hunting down the Skrulls.
Yeah.
Why can't they understand the natives?
If they have universal translators?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Because that doesn't make sense.
I mean, no, it doesn't.
Me trying to justify that, it could be that the universal translator only works for a certain level of civilization, and maybe they're just too primitive to translate. But then, that whole illusion's kind of broken when they pull a gun out.
Yeah, there's that. I'm just making some notes here about who I want to talk about.
I mean, this is initially where the question of how does flying work. It started with this movie.
But this one, it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, because she's propelling herself. It's like...
Well, the question is more, what's the most aerodynamic body position for flying through the air? Because the like one arm up, one arm kind of to the side doesn't feel the most aerodynamic.
I mean, I would think that the most aerodynamic way to fly would be the position divers put themselves in when they hit the water.
Yeah.
You are trying to have like the minimal surface area in contact with a fluid. Don't be gross.
Yeah, with the fluid substance.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like air and water are both fluids in terms of their mechanics. So yeah, the most aerodynamic way to fly would be to minimize your surface area. So you want your hands extended out in front of you, and you would want your arms extended and your hands extended. So that way, it's a small point that's breaking through the liquid, the fluid, and rather than having the fist. It's much more aerodynamic that way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. You're right.
Thank you. I know I am.
I know. I'm trying to like drag out some of my old physics.
No, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Because this was the initial point of my question of how flight works. If it's more of a buoyancy thing or more of a if there's still gravity in play. And with her, it seems. I mean, yeah, she's using energy to keep her up.
Yes. Yeah, I guess obviously gravity is still in play there. She's using her own energy. And it seems that she's able to generate her own sort of containment field, because the very last shot, it's her without a helmet on in space. So she's able to survive in space without needing to breathe.
I mean, her power is from the space stone.
That's true.
So
well, but it might also have to do with physiology. Like Thor was able to survive out in space without the need of a suit. But that's not true for everyone, obviously, because as we saw in Guardians, some people do need it.
Yes. Yeah, even the son of... Even someone who can hold an Infinity Stone still can't necessarily breathe in space.
Yeah, can still succumb to that.
Even though I don't think he can hold it by himself very long.
No, I don't think so. I think they said that. Like, he was able to hold it for a bit by himself.
Yeah, but then he needed the team.
But he needed the rest of the team, because they're the Guardians of the goddamn galaxy.
So, how many stones can Thor hold? Probably just one. But he can probably hold it by himself.
Well, I think it depends on the stone, right? Like, I think the thing with the power stone is that since its whole thing is that it's power, it's harder to hold on your own, possess on your own. Because we see multiple characters. Well, hang on. Who in Captain Marvel, who actually holds the Tesseract? She does, obviously.
Well, holding the Tesseract is different because that's a containment source.
Yeah.
You're never actually holding only Thanos has held the stone.
That's true. Well, I guess the Reality Stone, no one ever held it, but Jane was able to possess it, or it possessed her.
Yes.
And it was slowly killing her? I don't remember. I haven't seen The Dark World in a long time.
No one wants to go back to that.
Let's see. Vision never holds the stone, but obviously it can reside within him, and he's fine. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no one touched the Soul Stone. So that's soul, mind is in Vision. Tesseract holds space, power we've seen, reality we've seen. Time is in another containment field. We never see him directly touch.
I think in Infinity War he does, because he has it hidden in the pocket dimension.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because Thanos destroys the was it the Eye of
Agamotto?
Thank you. And then Strange does this like a voila thing, and I think at that point he's holding.
Which is interesting because that's the same move that Loki does with the Tesseract.
Oh, that's true.
I think it's the same pocket dimension.
I think it is. Yeah.
How much stuff is in there?
It's kind of like the room of requirement from Harry Potter. It's just the pocket dimension of requirement.
Yeah.
Whatever you need it to be, it will be.
There was a really funny. I know you don't play D&D, but there's a really funny D&D joke that a moderator, a dungeon master was talking about, where you could have two pocket dimensions in the same universe, and if they ever collided, it would blow up the universe they were being held in.
Why?
I don't remember.
That doesn't make sense.
So he was talking about in a campaign he had they were trying to capture a beast, and so they tied a bag of infinite holding to an arrow, and he shot it at the beast, and he rolled a nat 1, which is the worst thing you can roll. And so the bag of holding went into another bag of holding, and it just caused the entire universe to blow up, and everyone died.
And the whole campaign ended?
Yeah.
That's pretty fantastic, actually. See, you had me completely tuned out until the very end of that story. I'm like, oh, that's a cool story, actually. Yeah. Oh, this is why D&D is clever.
It took a minute of setup to get to the fun part of that story.
The whole campaign explodes.
That's the whole problem with D&D. Is everything takes a bit of setup before the fun starts.
Yeah, but I do love that idea that, like, through chance, that situation can come about, and the whole campaign gets ruined. And all the characters, like, if they start a new campaign, it'd have to be new characters.
Yeah.
That's
new
fantastic.
Character, new world.
That's
because the whole world is gone.
I love that, actually. I love that they accidentally broke their D&D world.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The power of the Nat 1.
Yeah. But no, I think like the big thing I really noticed this time around was how much I liked Carol's arc. And I think, again, it helps once you already know it, you can like look at these things. But, you know, she basically spends so much of her life that we see through flashback, plus her time in the Kree Star Force, basically being told by everybody else, in particular men, who she should be. Like what kind of person she should be, how she should do things, you know, don't feel, use your head. Basically, they're all trying to make her adhere to the rules that they've established.
Right.
Right? You know, it's like her dad getting after her for like, oh, you shouldn't be driving so crazy. Or, you know, when she's in the training camp jumping through the ropes, it's all like the male cadets that are making fun of her. And she keeps sort of like failing because she is trying to make herself fit into a world where the rules have been set by men, essentially.
The man's world.
Yeah, and like at the very, you know, it takes the course of the film, but especially her relationship with Maria Rambeau, who reminds her, like, no, you are this incredible person on your own, that by the end, when she breaks free, she's like, oh, I'm no longer going to try and fit into your established rules. And that kind of culminates in that fantastic moment where Jude Law, like, you know, puts the gun away. Okay, now fight me on my terms. She's like, no, she just blasts him. It's like, I won't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And being able to pick up on that more thoroughly, knowing that trajectory roughly, and then seeing the signposts, made me really appreciate it that much more.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's so good.
It is. Did we talk about the background actor
I don't know if we did.
Who made that really funny video that he connects all the worlds.
Oh, okay, yes.
Did we talk about that on air? Because I know I talked to you about it already.
Maybe if not,
I'll do
us.
it very briefly if we have talked about it before. There was an actor who's been a background actor in a bunch of things, and so he made a video. I assume it's his reel, but it's a joke video about how he connects every universe of film ever. And so he's one of the in the scene where she keeps falling from the ropes in military.
Okay,
he's in that scene. And so he like shows that he's like in the background of Price is Right, and like they're connected, and he's in the background of some other, like This Is Us. He's in that, and like it's all connected.
So fantastic.
It's a very clever thing for a background actor.
You got them all together.
It's very funny. I recommend everyone go and find that because it's.
Send me the send it to me and I'll put it in the show notes. What was I going to say? Oh, but I think some of the moments that didn't land for me the first time landed harder the second time around. So in particular, when they've gone up to Mar-Vell's lab and she's been captured and she's once again put into the Supreme Intelligence. That montage of her standing up the first time around, it just didn't quite gel for me for whatever reason. It definitely did this time. Maybe because, again, I was a little more in tune to her arc. But certainly when we see her like fully powered up for the first time, again, it's a trailer shot, but it worked for me.
It's such a good scene.
It is a really good shot.
My problem with that one is the music didn't match the visuals.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Because I wanted... There's like a 3-minute stint, because I know like the I'm Just a Girl song is about to start.
Yeah.
But that's so late in this fight. There's time for a whole nother song before that starts. And like... the score is good, but I feel like you need a better punch when she first comes to full power.
Yeah. And Marvel's oftentimes really, really good at that. You look at, I think one of the best examples is Thor Ragnarok, when he finally kind of like refines his powers, and it cuts back to Immigrant Song, like bringing that song back around from the beginning, like him once again at full strength, and when he's like slowly heading towards the bridge from the side and all the lightning is around him. Like, it's a perfect pairing of visuals and music. Or they've gotten really good about strategically inserting the Avengers theme in places. You think about like the first reveal of Cap in Infinity War. Going back even all the way to the very beginning of the I Am Iron Man and cutting to the music there. Like, they've gotten really good at that.
Yeah.
And I would agree that they don't make that as much of a moment as maybe they could have.
Yeah, because it's a huge moment, and especially all through her standing up, you can do a good build up song.
Yeah,
and then she's like, I don't need you. She crushes it, and then you start the headbanger.
Yeah,
and because then it's like a full action scene for the next couple minutes. It's her running through the building. It's them it's the Kree the Skrulls trying to escape at the same time. That's when the cat eats the people.
Oh yeah. Goose the Flurkin.
Yeah, Goose, thank you. It's like there's so much action happening there, and the music just doesn't match the intensity of what's happening on screen. And that's I think that was kind of my biggest problem with that scene. Maybe in the whole movie, that was my biggest problem. Is they had great songs. Like, the second time listening through, I appreciated the soundtrack a lot more.
Same.
But it just needed like 2 more songs.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, it needed just a little bit more. So okay, here's a thought about the MCU in general.
Okay.
For me, pretty much all of these movies, the more I watch them, the more I appreciate them.
Yes.
Like, I will come out of them being like, that was fine. I'll go back to it and like, actually, no, that was like really, really good. Like, I think maybe this one for me had like a greater delta than some of the other ones. Like, I definitely liked Infinity War coming out of it the first time, despite all the fucking tweens around us. But
well, I think that plays a big part in something that I talk about a lot, but that's theater experience.
Theater experience does make a huge difference. Yeah,
especially out here.
Yes,
because having one person can ruin a movie.
Absolutely.
And because that was my thing with Shazam. One of the things that drove me crazy when watching it for the first time was we were right in front of the walkway to get in and out, and all I could do, because there were so many people getting up throughout that movie.
Yeah.
And that's also why I sit so far forward, is so I don't see those people.
That actually does kind of
make
sense.
And there was a group they're like, for the first 20 minutes of the movie, there's a group of like 5 or 6 people just walking back and forth
constantly.
Yeah, and I couldn't focus on the movie at all because I'm just like, just sit the fuck down.
I know. Just focus.
And it's not even, you know, that's something it's not even meant to be distracting, but like
But it can be.
Yeah.
But do you think?
And what was the movie we saw? Oh, Lego Movie 2, where the woman behind us was narrating the whole thing for herself.
Yeah, that was particularly bad.
Yeah.
Also, the movie was not particularly good. But do you think with Marvel, like, that they are so good at what they do that you can't really appreciate it in one viewing?
I think that's part of it. I think we can't help but put expectations on films.
This is true.
And you know, we look forward to these movies for months, sometimes years.
Yeah.
And not many of them can live up to those standards.
It's true.
I think Infinity War, for me, was the closest a film has ever come to live up to standards.
That movie, because I've mentioned that I did my strategic rewatch here, and that movie fell under, like, I think I ended up listing it as one of my favorites. Let me go back.
I think it's top 3 for me.
MCU. Okay, yeah, I put it under my favorites category. Okay, now I gotta think about. Okay, I would definitely put. Okay, I'm adding Captain Marvel here. I'm gonna throw this in my enjoy.
Yeah, I would say that.
So I have it broken down to favorites, movies that I love, enjoy, good, and okay. So I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but my favorites: Iron Man, The Avengers, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War. And then there's some I didn't go rewatch. Like I didn't rewatch Black Panther. I didn't rewatch Doctor Strange. Those would probably fall some, like, I think Black Panther might be a love. Doctor Strange probably an enjoy. The lowest on my list right now is Iron Man 3.
Which I remember rewatching and enjoying it a lot more now, because I had only watched it once in theaters.
Okay. I enjoyed it significantly less going for a rewatch. There's just too much. It's just it's like three
But you
different
liked
films.
it the first time you watched
I did.
it.
And
Okay,
I think
that's the difference.
I think I've had diminishing return on that one because, especially now, it just feels so disjointed. I think it's one of the problems maybe with this franchise, this overall universe, this franchise, is that they've gotten so good at what they do that when you go back, when they're figuring stuff out, it becomes more apparent.
Yes.
Like, I still quite like Age of Ultron, but it definitely doesn't hold together the same way the other ones do. But no, I think Captain Marvel, like, it's definitely better than I give it credit to the first time around.
Oh yeah, so what I was saying was I think personal bias plays a huge part on first viewing.
Yes.
We want it to be...
We want it to be amazing.
Yes.
That's what we come to
and especially
expect.
with Marvel, because, you know, every other studio is just not living up.
They're our last hope.
Yeah.
Like, actually, hang on.
I don't want to say last hope because they were first anyway.
But no, but let's take a look at this here. So of the major franchises, Marvel is the only one that had. Well, I'm going to say Captain Marvel is really good. It's better than I gave it credit for the first time. Every other, like, major franchise, their last film was disappointing.
Shazam was good.
Okay, fine. I'll give you Shazam was good. They just have so much shit in the background. But it's like, I mean, obviously, X-Men Apocalypse, terrible. I quite like Star Trek Beyond, but it kind of hit or miss for some people. Spectre, not good.
You're just going through
like I'm talking
all
about like
franchises.
Like all the major franchises that are
Okay.
existing right now. A lot of the recent efforts from most of them have been less. Like the last film they made for the most part has been like on the lesser side of things.
Gotcha.
Right? I'm trying to think what other major ones are out there. Star Wars, obviously, was Solo. I don't know. I'm blanking on other franchises right now.
The Mummy, the Dark Universe.
Fucking Dark Universe.
I mean, Kong Skull Island was surprisingly
Actually, that
good.
was good. I liked
Yeah.
that one a lot. Yeah.
Because that one, the sequel comes out the next few weeks.
Well, no. So we get Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
And then at some point we're getting Kong versus Godzilla.
Well, I mean, it's same universe. So
Yeah.
I meant the next.
Okay,
one
that's
in that
fair,
line
yeah.
is Skull Island.
But I like the first
King of
Godzilla
Monsters.
too.
I still haven't seen that one.
It's pretty solid.
That's what I've heard.
I don't know if you need to go back to it though.
Yeah, I mean, I will, just because
Yeah, because
I hate myself.
you're a completist and a masochist. But I think you're right.
A complete masochist.
Yeah, a complete masochist. I think you're right that bias plays a role in this.
Yeah.
And that I think in the same way where we have low expectations for DC, so we're forgiving
John Wick.
Okay, never mind. John Wick just continues to get better and better.
Yeah.
John Wick 3.
I know. Sorry, you were saying.
I think with Marvel, our expectations are always so high, so they come in a little bit less for the first time. I think
And then once we kind of balance out expectations, then okay, yeah, it's better than I expected.
Yeah, once I already know what I'm getting, I'm able to go in and like find more and appreciate things more.
Yeah, because I think for me, like I want it to be, Winter Soldier level. And there's a lot higher chance that it's going to be, because if we put it on a number scale, Winter Soldiers are like a 98, 99.
Oh yeah, that's way high up on my list there.
So there's clearly a much higher chance it's going to be under that percent than above that percent.
That's true, yeah. But like, I mean, even most of them, like Guardians 2, like I didn't really love the first time around, and when I went back for a rewatch, like I really, really liked it. It made me cry, actually.
That's one because that's one I don't think I've rewatched since the first viewing.
It's worth going back. I mean, because I didn't rewatch Guardians in this run, but I did rewatch any movies that I had only seen once. So I rewatched Ant-Man vs. the Wasp, which again I was like, this is fun.
Okay,
it's enjoyable, and I rewatched Spider-Man, which was like, oh, this is really good.
I've rewatched Spider-Man since then, and it's so good.
It is, yeah, it's really fantastic. I think
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
You're so good at everything you do.
He is amazing. But I also have some notes here from other people.
Oh, please read.
We did send out a call like a month ago.
Yeah.
I have a lot here from Maddie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
See, I told you I'd come to it eventually, Maddie. So, all right, my thoughts on Captain Marvel. The film did a great job blending the period piece film of Captain America and the small scale stakes of other Phase 1 films with the cosmic side and tone of things we've seen in later films, such as Guardians and Ragnarok. I think it's pretty fair. I don't think the story was so much about the mystery aspect you guys kept returning to, but more or less the humanity of Carol herself, and that being reflected through the scroll twist. I think people had preconceived notions about both Carol and the Skrulls going in, and this crushed both of those. Also very fair. Before the film came out, Brie Larson kept being criticized for showing lack of emotion, but all throughout the film we see her exhibit emotions ranging from joy to confusion to grief over her loss, etc. I find it fascinating how the film dealt with both the trope that women are over-emotional as well that they don't show enough emotion and need to smile more. To me, it didn't feel like it beat one over the head with it, but it laid out the puzzle pieces for the more toxic side of the fandom to hopefully realize that their approach to how women should act is absurd. The soundtrack was fan-fucking-tastic, and I couldn't help but smile with every musical cue and definitely had to stop myself from singing along at times. I think that's all very fair.
Yes.
And then let's see what else we got here. They did such a good job tying together the continuity of the pre-established universe between making Mar-Vell part of Project Pegasus, which Tony confirmed his father would be a part of in Iron Man 2. Oh, did he? I don't remember that. That's cool. And it was also where the Tesseract was housed, the Avengers. Carol being transformed from with Kree blood in a similar manner to Coulson in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., her power inhibitor being similar to the one used in S.H.I.E.L.D., Coulson on actually coming into contact with Kree and thus keeping his surprise of their existence in S.H.I.E.L.D. intact. Didn't even think about that either. Ronan learning the Tesseract in this film, setting up motive for his alliance with Thanos. Oh, that's a really good point, actually. And implying he may have been the one to have informed him of his presence on Earth in Avengers, and even small stuff like using the same font as Guardians with the planet notifications. It all just feels like it was natural in the universe and helped flesh it out more. I didn't even think about that, actually, that would tee up Ronan to be the person potentially who tipped off Thanos. Yeah, and set that whole thing in motion anyways.
Well, yeah, he's a little crybaby.
He got his little bit crybaby. Yeah. Well, and they're also setting up maybe his return in a Captain Marvel 2 were it set between
because he blew up in Guardians.
Well, and then also, but at the end of it, he's like, we're going to come back for the weapon. The guy's like, oh, the Tesseract. He's like, no, for the woman. So that it's where we might see her go up against him again at some point, which I'm fine with that. I like Lee Pace.
Yeah.
He's cool. Okay, there's more here.
What if we didn't know this, but in Guardians 1, Carol was on that planet that Ronan was so...
Xandar?
Yeah.
Oh, where the Nova Corps is? if she were,
then yeah, she clearly would have.
She would have just jumped into the fight. She could have, yeah. I mean, because they were fighting against one of those accuser ships in Guardians and having a hard time taking it down. She took out 2 of them with barely batting an eye.
Yeah,
so
that's very true.
I think she might be off somewhere else, being shoehorned.
But he's trying to get her attention.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I would love to see him return. I think the Kree are interesting. So, okay, there's still more.
Okay.
I get that some of the humor could feel overplayed, like the slow, no connection joke used 3 times, like the dial-up sort of thing. But at the same time, that's how those scenes would have played out realistically. Fair. I suppose they could have cut out the collect call one, but slow internet and slow loading literally needs to be there. Other than the one repetitious jokes, the humor was great without feeling like the forced quippy stuff Marvel's been known for. I think that's true, because I think a lot of the humor relies on the chemistry of the leads. Like, they just have great banter.
Yes, absolutely.
I think this actually has some of the best banter, like the most natural back and forth that we've seen in the MCU. Because sometimes it can get a little weedeny in other places, and it didn't feel that way here.
I mean, yeah, I think it's just letting Sam Jackson talk to someone like a normal person.
That's true. He's not just Mr. Exposition. He actually gets to be his own person.
Or he just doesn't talk down to everyone. I mean, that's all he does is talk down to everyone else.
Yeah, everyone else around him is an idiot. He got to be the idiot this time.
Right, but still fun. Think he's the smartest one.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so fun. I think that's what makes the banter fun.
Yeah.
Is there's not the same power struggle that's in most conversations where one is trying to overpower the other. It's one is trying to prove how much power they have without realizing how much power the other one has.
Yeah, there's like a mutual respect thing going on there.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning. Like, they both recognize their limitations, but also their strengths, and just like develop a trust really quickly, which is fun. Let's see. The homages to 90s culture were so fun without being on the nose, like her Veers to Star Command homage to Toy Story. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or the dogfight being almost exactly out of Independence Day. Very true.
Both which came out in 96.
Yeah, good point. And God damn it, I loved that they said continuity be damned and threw in the Mallrats joke, despite Stan literally talking about his hand in Spider-Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four, and X-Men in that film. It's super touching that the first cameo after he passed is a reference to his first film cameo, which is true.
Yeah.
And when I went back and watched the
second
second
time...
And
one might say his best film cameo. And by some, I say me.
By you. Never actually seen Mallrats.
I think it's worth a watch.
I'll go back and check it out at some point. I like Kevin Smith. But I remember mentioning that he felt glossy, and I think I was worried that...
Yeah, I definitely did not see that at the same time.
definitely still saw it.
Okay.
I was worried that maybe they had done like a bit of a CGI recreation. I think it's him, but I think they did try to do some de-aging on him.
Yeah.
It just didn't look particularly good. I don't think I agree with Cameron's assessment that there was a need for an Air Bud moment either.
Well...
It was very refreshing getting to see her just outright say, nah, fuck you to Jan Rog without having to have some huge internal turmoil in the final act. What was the moment you wanted to have the Air Bud?
I didn't want it in the final scene. I wanted it when she first realizes who she is.
Oh, okay.
And even on second viewing, I did see the story a little clearer. But still, since they both messed with her memory, I just wanted like a few little snippets of when she's, because it's all happening in her head when she's remembering everything, but just snipping in the memories that the Kree put in her. Yeah. Where it's, she sees a Kree ship, and then for like a few frames, it switches between a Kree ship and a Skrull ship, and you see her like still fighting the two forces.
Okay,
just very briefly.
Still going back and forth.
Yeah, and then ending with her fully accepting the truth.
Oh, okay.
Because that's still a very hard thing for her to... I understand that we're playing way too much into the mystery of it all. But for a mind movie like this, like that's still such a big part for her to just reject everything that's in her head. The only thing that's in her head. She has no memories of before this moment. So that's all she has to remember.
Okay, like she kind of abandons everything a little bit quickly?
Yes. And I think just... Even if it's just a few seconds of... Not struggle, but like... having to override the memory she already has, where we see, the Kree ship jumps to a Skrull ship, jumps back to a Kree ship. We see Yon-Rogg come out. No, I think we see the Skrull come out, and then it ends with Yon-Rogg. And then she's like, okay, yeah, this is real.
Okay, yeah, I can see something like that. Just something for
Not
her.
something even like super overplayed. Literally
Yeah.
just frames of like a data glitch.
Yeah, just okay, yeah, like having that, not just showing that scene as it actually happened when it comes on the second time, but actually have like on screen visually the transition of like all the pieces are starting to fall into play.
Yes.
Like she sees the scroll and then it's realized, like, oh, it's not actually that. It's going to be Jan Rog.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Also, there should be a newspaper.
A newspaper.
Airbud.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
He beats the dog with a newspaper.
Jan Rog
Cameron.
should be in clown makeup. Would it make sense for the person not shapeshifting to be in makeup? No, but he's gonna.
He was coming from his nephew's party.
There was. Oh, is there more?
Yeah, there's more.
Okay.
Also, well, I get where you're coming from with hoping that there were lesbian undertones with Maria, but I think it was refreshing that there was no love interest subplot to the film. Agreed. The whole plot was all about Carol defining herself, and throwing in romantic subplots would have just taken away from that. Also agreed. As for Secret Invasion, 4 Skrulls came to Earth. Only 3 ended up accounted for by the end. Talos Skrullson, which is a fantastic name, and Skrull Knight, the science guy, aka Skrull Carol.
Good.
Worth it just for that. The 4th one never actually showed up after being chased down to the subway station. It's possible he met back up off screen, but there's no actual confirmation that's true. So while the Skull Race is set up to be sympathetic here,
Well, one is still trying to pick. Still to this day, is trying to
Figure out
another identity.
another
to pick.
identity?
Yeah, because he picked the same one as
Talos.
Yeah.
As Mendo. But yeah, so there's definitely there's the possibility there that some of them aren't as sympathetic. He says, I don't know, I definitely think this film was done so well and I had fun the whole way through, which honestly from the promotional material I wasn't sold, but wow, I really can't get this one out of my head after seeing it. So
Nice.
no, I think it's all very true. Like all really good points. Overall, just across the board, I was much warmer on it a second time around. I'm glad I went back to go
Same.
see it. So, well, you also got more nitpicky too.
I
But
did.
also understandable.
But that was more just like me questioning the film being made and less the story of it.
Yeah.
Because I think the other nitpick was we see when Skrulls transform, they also can transform their clothes. But when Skrullson dies in the car wreck,
He's still in.
his skin turns back to Skrull, but he's still wearing Coulson's suit.
Yeah. Also, I noticed this time around that randomly Talos, when he shows up in Louisiana, is wearing his normal Skrull attire, but then also a blazer.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
That's just Mendo, which is what he brought
Why?
to set that day.
It's his lucky blazer.
Yeah. But there was one other scene that I think is meant for the rewatch because it really gives a bigger emotional punch. And it's when they first make it onto Mar-Vell's ship. We don't know the motivation for anyone except for getting the energy source, the Tesseract.
Yeah.
But when Mendo walks on board, he picks up a baseball and runs into the next room.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah.
Which didn't make sense on first viewing, but then you realize it's because he knows his kid is there.
Yeah. I think these movies are made so intricately that I think they're kind of designed to be seen multiple times.
I think there might be a scene, maybe just a couple seconds of something in the beginning with Mendo. Not to give it away, because I like the idea that he's looking for his kid.
Yeah.
But maybe something about like we have to find the others.
Mm-hmm.
Just one other, just small little nod that like he has other plans.
He has something else at
Like
stake
like
here.
the energy source is his main priority, but there's something he's not telling us. Like,
Yeah.
there's something he's still hiding from Carol. Because then that would kind of make the audience still a little like questiony with the Skrulls.
Oh, okay. Like you want him to be a little bit suspect. You want us as an audience to know that maybe he has some other agenda as they're heading to this lab without knowing what it is.
Yes.
I
want this film to be a mystery. I'm sorry.
I get that. I think that would have undercut
much.
the emotional arc because I think at that point Carol is inclined to want to believe him. Like certainly after realizing that her memories were fake and that the Skrulls weren't the villain all along, certainly she's carrying around that guilt. And so I think when they show up on Mar-Vell's lab, I think at that point she already kind of wants to believe him. And I think maybe that works a little bit better for her to be gearing up towards a more empathetic moment than rather than once again being like proven wrong but being suspicious.
Okay, I agree with that.
So, but yeah, that's like lots of other notes on Captain Marvel here. But again, a much better second time around.
Agree.
So, okay, real quick, we have some other notes from friends.
Perfect.
All right, actually, I got a question for you here, Cameron.
Oh, no.
All right, so Daniel Calcano, I think I said that right, on Twitter was asking, basically he was tagging the DC Universe, and he's like, what are the chances you can get George Newbern to re-record the Superman part in The Call to offer it up on DC Universe? He's always been a little bit put off by Christopher McDonald voice of Superman. He wanted to know what our thoughts were. If we would like to see the voice performance in The Call, the episode we just did, redone with George Newbern from Justice League rather than keeping it as Christopher McDonald.
I don't really care.
No? Really? Nothing? No?
No. I'm sorry. I mean, like, I can visual. I mean, I'm a much more visual person than an audio person.
Yeah.
So if I see the character, they all kind of sound the same in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll kind of put my own internally. I put my own voice on it.
Okay, so you didn't find it like distracting that it was a different person?
Not really.
Okay. See, I'm actually glad they did that because, and we forgot to mention this last week, but that voice actor, Christopher McDonald, voiced Jor-El in the pilot for Superman the Animated Series.
That's awesome.
So the idea of Clark just kind of getting older and older, and then
our Kryptonian is maturing.
Exactly, yeah, like bringing some elements of his father in there. I actually quite like that.
Okay,
thing in there.
Oh, yeah, I like that a lot now. Yeah.
Yeah, we should have mentioned it last week. I forgot, but I think I actually like that voice performance, and so there you go, Daniel. I would keep it.
That was for me.
That's for both of us.
Okay.
He just wanted to know what we thought.
Okay.
But I already saw the questions. I was throwing it to you.
Great.
Okay. And then another thing real fast, more stuff from Maddie here. Good old Maddie. I don't think we ever actually talked about all the connections between Justice League versus the Fatal Five and Harley Quinn, right? We were trying to figure them out in the episode, but I don't think we ever went back and actually listed them because he sent us all the connection points.
Between Fatal Five and Justice League? And
Batman and Harley Quinn, right? Because like the two post-DCAU films that may be set in that continuity,
Gotcha.
we were speculating, are they both in there? What's going on?
Okay.
And so he said, for Batman and Harley Quinn, not only are the character models reused, but Hal was first introduced as a current DC... Okay, yeah, right, yeah. As a current DCAU lantern via that film, albeit in a Super Babes Easter egg. Oh, I don't know what that is. Which is a pretty weak connection. The Argus, they have the same uniforms. He says, pudding night is Arkham and is Thursday. The clown loves pudding. Harley constantly refers to Joker as Puddin'. Joker loves Harley, so why is it pudding night on Arkham? Because it's Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I get it. And I guess Bruce Timm said in the commentary, this is kind of weird since the last time we saw her, she was a good guy and now she's a bad guy in regards to jumping from one to the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, I think those are definitely connected.
Gotcha.
And then he also had a recommendation for you in terms of talking about how things fly, which I forgot to mention last time. But I watched his recommendation. We'll talk about it in Bat Plugs.
Okay.
Which is happening right now. Cameron, what are your Bat Plugs?
Oh my god, I did not prepare for this. Sorry.
How did you not prepare for that?
I forgot we did it every time for the past 116 episodes.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and jump in then.
Please do.
So Maddie's recommendation was for us, you in particular, to check out the episode of Ask the Storybots, which is a kids show, a kids educational program on Netflix. And there's an episode all about how airplanes fly where Kevin Smith guest stars in it.
Oh.
And so basically, like, the structure of this show is that they'll record an actual, like, live action child asking a question like, how do airplanes fly? And then these little animated characters like try and figure it out, and they can't figure it on their own. They jump into the real world to go and get an answer.
Gotcha.
So like, oh, well, why don't we go talk to this like super awesome guy, this very like Superman-esque character played by Kevin Smith, because he can fly. He'll know how airplanes fly. So they go and talk to him. And the cool thing is they actually explain to kids how superheroes can fly on screen. Like they explain that Kevin Smith is just like laying on top of a couple of green screen stools, and then they edit around him to make it look like he's flying.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool that they would explain that to kids, because I remember...
Yeah, break their hopes and dreams as early as possible.
Well, but I think what it might actually be a reference to is, even just really obtusely, is I don't know if you recall from Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was in this. Maybe I saw it somewhere else. But that was the thing that Mr. Rogers got really upset about, was like there was some kid who either accidentally killed himself or got really hurt trying to
jumped
fly.
out a second story window.
Yeah, because of the movie Superman. Because the kids didn't realize that's something you couldn't do. And so, like, this is a show now explaining to young kids how things that are impossible in the real world can still be seen on camera, which I thought was kind of fun.
Okay.
But they actually do a really good explanation of how airplanes fly. Like, they break it down into the 4 forces of, like, lift, gravity, drag, and thrust.
Nice.
And I was like, this is actually, like, a really, really good version of, like, explaining... Oh, is that Bernoulli?
Yeah, Bernoulli's principle.
Yeah, Bernoulli's principle. Yeah, I was quite impressed with it.
Way to pull that word back out.
I know, right? It's buried in there,
Yeah.
deep in the bowels of my brain. But yeah, good pull, Maddie. Also, how did you find this show? So curious. So that's one of my plugs. Also, it's weird because Judy Greer voices one of the main characters,
Aww.
and whenever I think of her as a voice actor, I just think of Cheryl on Archer. And these are 2 very different characters, and
I don't think
there's
so.
a mental disconnect.
Are they
there
going to
for
do the
me.
same crossover like they did with Bob's Burgers?
Oh, that'd be so good. Yeah, I don't think your character on Ask the Storybots is getting paddled.
She's not an aspiring country singer.
Oh, it's not a great season, but those songs are fantastic. So those are mine. I also watched Edge of 17.
I love that movie.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's
Haley Steinfeld and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, it's very raw, very real. Like, it basically addresses self-hatred and depression and self-loathing in a very impactful, realistic way.
And not victim blame. Let's see, self blame. Survival's guilt. That's the word I'm thinking of.
Oh, survivor's guilt. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like, it's very, very funny, but also it's really real. And I was really impressed by that. And then the other thing I want to mention is I have taken up the One Punch Man challenge.
You have, and I'm so proud of you.
I have. As of today, I've done 4 days. So the first 2 days I started at level 4. So that would mean I did in circuits 40 push-ups, 40 sit-ups, 40 squats, and then ran 4 kilometers. Day 3, I upped it to 5, and then today I dropped it back down to 4 to give myself a bit of a break.
Yeah, because there's a YouTuber that has a whole series about, like, do anime workouts work? And his note because he talked about the One Punch Man workout probably 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And his note was, everything is possible, but take it easier on the running, because that's what's going to injure you. Like, if you try, because the initial One Punch Man thing is a 10K run every day. Yeah. And clearly that's not possible. So he tried to do it for a month. And he said he made it like a week and a half when his legs were just like, not even just giving out on him. Like, he was getting like horrible shin splints. Yeah. And like horrible ankle pain. Yes. I mean, that is definitely it. It's like, be smart about it. So how this, I'd say, kind of started to go viral was this guy in Singapore, Sean Shea, who decided he was going to undertake this. And I think he started at like level 4 or 5. But I like that methodology of like start out by doing it in increments and build up towards it. Because you're absolutely right. Like, I'm not a super active runner. So I definitely started out low, like take it easy. And then there's a couple like stretches I do. Like, there's a really good way to not get shin splints, where basically like you stand on a step with your toes hanging over there and you just like bounce your feet up and down for a minute. Do that, do like calf stretches. But certainly after the first couple of days, like I was feeling my legs. Like, my legs just hurt. Like the balls of my feet were hurting from the impact. Yeah, so be smart about it. But I mean, it's a good workout though. Absolutely. Like, it basically does kind of cover all the major things you need. Yeah, and that's the joke of the show too. Is he's the ultimate fighter. Like, no one, he's stronger than anyone in the world. And so you have this giant monster coming up to him. It's like, how did you gain this strength? Yeah. And he has a disciple who's following his every word. He's like, I have to know how you became this monster. He's like, oh, I did something no man should ever try. I did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10K run every day. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, that's just a normal workout. Like, how did that? Yeah. Like, that doesn't explain anything. It's a pretty tough workout, though. Let's do it. So I'm gonna try and do it for the whole 30-day thing. Yeah. So if you want I have other anime workouts if you want to grow your workout regime after this. I'm fine.
I also have a really fantastic app that I normally use that I'm taking a break from. So I kind of miss it. I kind of miss going to the gym a little bit.
There's Kenichi's workout.
Nope, we don't need to. Nope, don't need to do it. Don't need to go there. Unless those are your plugs.
No. No, so in a similar worse vein than Edge of 17, I watched what is it called? The Perfect Date.
Oh, wait. Worse vein.
I mean, Edge of 17 is really good.
Yeah.
Perfect Date's good, but not to that level.
Is it just like it seems like it'd be a bit breezier?
Yeah, it's definitely a Netflix teen movie.
Okay.
It felt like I think the Netflix teen movies are like a step above DComs at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, because the peak being To All the Boys I Loved Before.
It's really good.
It's not quite that level. But it's still good. It's worth a watch. It's cute.
Yeah, I mean, Noah Centineo is charming.
And I love the lead girl in it a lot. She's really cool.
I don't know if I know her.
She's not in a lot.
The Perfect Date. Laura Morano? Laura Morano, what have you done, my friend? Perfect Day. A Lady Bird.
Oh, yeah. She's the friend in Lady Bird.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet.
Really? It's great.
Yeah.
And there's a reason it was nominated.
Okay, yeah, I don't really know any of the rest of the stuff.
She was a Disney star from the looks of it.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Finale.
Yeah, she was on an episode of Girl Meets World. Randy Cunningham, 9th grade ninja. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wow, she really is a Disney girl. She's Girl Meets World, Liv and Maddie, Jessie.
Oh, she played young Sarah Silverman on the Sarah Silverman program.
Oh, that's awesome. True Jackson. Oh, I remember that show.
Oh, she's young Becca in Superbad, going way back there.
Okay. Yeah, she's adorable.
Okay.
Yeah, the movie's fun.
It's a nice, worth checking out.
Yeah, it's a nice like if you just need to turn your brain off kind of movie.
I always do.
Yeah, it's a good one for that.
Cool. Is that it? That's all you got?
Yeah. All the Spy Kids movies. I rewatched those.
Yeah, we're not gonna count that. Okay.
I had a lot of work to do. All right, I needed something to keep me up.
I mean, those will keep you up. There's
They will.
Fucking weird fever dreams.
I hadn't seen Spy Kids 3 in so long, and it's
how,
not.
How could you have gone so long without watching Spy Kids 3? The one where they go into a video game?
Yeah. Ugh. The one where it's like peak bad 3D when it's like things just flying out at you.
Yeah, because wasn't it Spy Kids 3D?
Spy Kids 3D, yeah. Spy Kids 3D Game Over, yeah. It's a fun watch. Just for how many big names are in that movie.
Oh, it's crazy.
Worth watching.
Yeah. I mean,
there's 4 Sylvester Stallones.
Jesus Christ. I mean, it's still Robert Rodriguez. Like, he can still pull those kind of people.
The movie, it's so fun. Like, it hits the good bad category.
Oh, okay. But they're not even spies at that point.
No, not even a little bit. And it's great. Because even like Junie, the main male spy, he quit the agency at the end of 2. And so 3, it opens up him trying to be like a kid private eye. It's great. Yeah. I know you're shaking your head, but Elijah Wood is in it. Selma Hayek is in it. Sylvester Stallone's in it 4 times over.
This is what I forget if I don't...
Alan Cunning is back in it.
If I don't stop you, you'll keep going.
Yeah. Everyone that's been in the movie, in the franchise before and 1 and 2 is back in this one.
You are just the juggernaut of pointless
I'm the
bullshit.
juggernaut, bitch.
You'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Nothing can stand in your way. Well, I'm going to. I'm going to stop you now. Let us wrap up.
All right.
And be done with this. But if you want to reach us, if you have any questions for us or thoughts on Batman Beyond or Captain Marvel or the One Punch Man Challenge or Spy Kids 3D,
please direct all Spy Kids questions to Chris.
You can find us at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail. You can find me personally at Lordifer on Twitter and Instagram.
If you want to see my face, you can find that at CamDexter_Adventures. And if you want to see my art, you can find that at Cameron.Dexter.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we just bunch of good stuff up there now from your Dapper Day. Yeah, Dapper Day.
Our trip to the Warner Brothers lot.
Yeah. Which, we haven't talked about that yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got to go to the Warner Brothers lot to go see the Game of Thrones premiere.
Yeah, I'll talk about that next time.
It's really fucking cool. I did say up front I was going to try and make this shorter episode. Didn't really happen. It's basically just as long as they always are. And if you are finding these a little bit on the longer side and would prefer them to be shorter, do let us know. Unless, of course, your name is Jason, in which case I already know they're too long for you. Shut the fuck up. I don't care.
Yeah.
But anybody else, if you would kind of rather us try and be a little bit shorter on these things, let us know. We can work around that. Otherwise, we will just keep talking. So
Forever.
Forever and ever.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.